Welcome everybody to our call tonight. It is an amazing call. We're going to be talking about the micro daily EMF patent with Dr. Prasad, and we're going to really be walking through really the history and how it got developed and to equip you guys. And we're so excited about this patent.
We are. And first though, this is Joanette Biebensheimer, and
I'm the lead researcher of Dr. EMF.
And I'm Dr. Kort, the lead clinician of Dr. EMF. So we're excited to have you here this evening. And we're in a coffee shop, so we may have a little background noise, but we had a power pole come down at our place and it had no power. So we had to go to plan B. And here we are.
And we're grateful to be here. And Jeff, if you would not mind reading the disclaimer.
Absolutely. This is fun to be back with you guys, and excited about another incredible presentation and to have Dr. Prasad here with us. I do need to take care of the disclaimer. And so if you will bear with me just a moment, I will pull it up onto the screen. And here we go. These statements and comments have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This information is solely for educational purposes only and includes recent advances in research on micronutrients. Boy, isn't that the case tonight. Engage, the micronutrient company, does not claim that our formulas diagnose, treat, cure, heal, or prevent any disease or injury. However, Engage's formulas are formulated to address nutritional deficiencies and supply the body with the required nutrients. It's important to note that nothing here is meant to be a substitute for professional medical treatment or a consultation with your primary healthcare provider. So that having been taken care of, I'm going to pull you guys back up here onto the spotlight.
Very good. And Jeff, could you also spotlight Dr. Prasad?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
You ready, Dr. Kort?
Yeah, and we're all spotlighted on the side. Is that correct?
Whoops.
That is correct. Looks good.
Okay, we just lost our screen, Jeff.
Hang on.
There we go. And give me 1 second. Our moderator just popped in, so I'm gonna, if I can just get a second to be able to get her. Let me see. Make her co-host. All right. We'd like to also thank Sarah Keevy for hopping on and moderating tonight. She was rushing home in Los Angeles to get here. So thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. All right, Dr. Kort, here we go.
I don't think there is a rush home in Los Angeles in the evening.
There's not. All right.
Well, we are so grateful to have Dr. Prasad here. And this is such an amazing time for us because the micro daily EMF product is finally patented, and we're so excited about that. So let's get this party started. Okay, why do I not have?
All right.
There we go. Go ahead, Jet.
We'd like to we've known Dr. Prasad a long time, and Dr. Kort and Dr. Prasad, we have a picture here of them together. And this was, I'm not sure when this is, but we really wanted to talk about back when you both spoke about EMF radiation and at the Oregon Chiropractic in the year of 2020.
Yep, this was his 89th birthday when we all got together, and Dr. Prasad and I in 2020, he and I lectured at the Oregon Chiropractic Convention. Do you remember that, Dr. Prasad?
Yeah, very well.
You know what? I found the disc today and I couldn't find any way to load it. So I wasn't able to pull up our conversation that we had at the Oregon Chiropractic Convention. But following that convention, we were able to have dinner with Dave and Robin and Dr. Prasad. And it was an amazing time because Jet was actually able to give Dr. Prasad a huge bank of the research that she had been collecting. And we gave that to Dr. Prasad. And how long, Dr. Prasad, did you spend on that research?
I don't remember it, but always I spent a few months.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 months. And he came back and he said, you know, I'll let you say what you said.
Okay.
When you came back to us and said, we're going to make this new formula.
Yeah, I think, first, when I met Dr. Kort, I was totally ignorant about EMF radiation. And so when he told me, and when I did research on, he was correct. And so the question was how we can improve the formula, which was original micronutrient. And then I started doing some research and found that 4 ingredients are the only one which has been tested against the EMF radiation, and now it reduced the damage produced by EMF radiation. And the rest of them, even though they are the same antioxidant, others were antioxidant, but it was directly tested, and that impressed me. And so original formula that we had Micro Daily that we developed, as you know, in collaboration with Department of Defense. And so we modified that formula and added 4 additional one. One was resveratrol, which increases the number of mitochondria. And we added a curcumin, quercetin, and green tea extract. And since then it has every talk that I have given in the international these days, several of them I have given, they always recommend the microdaily EMF and code 4 and how explain each of them how it is so important for not only prevention of the disease or reduce the risk of the developing disease, chronic diseases, and like Alzheimer, Parkinson's disease, and so on, but also in combination with current therapy. This kind of core 4 can improve the effectiveness in terms of increasing the survival rate and reducing the acute and late adverse effect of treatment, at least with respect to all. We have all the drug we use, they focus on symptom of the disease, not the causes of the disease. And we said, yeah, here are the causes of the disease, here are the remedy of those causes, and therefore you combine them with the treatment that you are giving for any disease. And but I gave a lecture on Alzheimer's disease and as well as the Parkinson's disease. And so it is very important that, and finally, we filed application, and I had to struggle for a long time. It took about more than, I don't know, a year or 2, because the examiner will always, from patent office, have some questions, because we already had a patented with the original formula, and this new formula patenting created. Then I explained him in detail why it is a new one that is different from the other one. So finally, our lawyer, very smart, got through the examiner and got patented officer.
Well, I remember, when we came in 10 years ago, we talked about the B complex and folic acid, that we needed to have that to be the MTHFR folic acid.
Right. Again, there was,
But when you created the formula when you created the formula back in 2003, well, actually you had it created before the towers came down,
right.
2001. We didn't know what MTHFR was.
No.
And you in your infinite wisdom listened to that and looked at that and said, you know what, that's an easy thing for us to do. We just needed to have the reason to do it. And
so I think that's why we instead of folic acid, because if you have mutation in MTHFR, you cannot convert folic acid to methylfolate, which is the form our body uses it. And so, but even though it is a rare phenomenon, mutation is very rare, but nevertheless, people are concerned because you don't know whether you have mutation or not. So, on the advice of Dr. Kort, I said, okay, we'll make it a 5-methyl. Then consumers were complaining about the cobalamin, cyanocobalamin. It is a cyanic acid. That is, of course, cyanide is very toxic. But when I look the literature, our product has a 2 microgram, and this gets evaporated in your body, but 2 microgram of a cyanide. And when we look at the food content, like the green vegetables, they had a 30 microgram.
Mm.
So I said, even though it is much less, but make sure consumers are happy. And so we converted to, again, methylcobalamin, because that is the form body uses it. When you take a cyanide form, because most of the previous clinical study has been done by cyanide, the cyanocobalamin, but it didn't hurt anything. It does not cost anything. We just remove cyanide and we got methylated form. Maybe company can sustain some of the increase in the cost of that, but because that is cheaper. Folic acid is much cheaper than 5-methyl, and so the other one as well. And so the new micro daily was has a cobalamin in a methylated form as well as folic acid. And then came Dr.Kort advice about the micronutrients. So he's responsible really from developing this micro daily EMF because, as I said, I didn't know anything about it. But when I did a lot of research, then I was convinced that it is a thing so damaging in all people that we have to do something to reduce the impact. And that's what we did.
Well, for the people on the call, I just want to set the record straight. Okay, Jet's the brains, I'm the eye candy. And so I'm the pretty one, she's the smart one. No, it's the way that this came about was that I've suffered from EMF sensitivity since I was part of the Motorola import team of cell phones into Australia in 1987. And I was having issues with EMF, but we didn't know what it was. And it wasn't until a decade ago that we met you, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah.
And the original military formula made such a difference, but now the new enhanced patented EMF formula has changed my life and the lives of so many others.
And this is very interesting that, the same symptoms we must have read in the newspaper, Havana syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knew at the time what is going on, except they had a lot of EMF sources there, but nobody knew at the time. Then became a Chinese syndrome. Then became Washington syndrome. Even a dog got affected by EMF radiation. Finally, government appointed a large number of scientists to look into what are the causes of all these syndromes that we are observing it. And all different types of scientists came from different disciplines, and they concluded that after eliminating all kind of possibility, they came into conclusion that it is most likely EMF radiation. Still, many, not all, but many in scientific community is not convinced that micro daily EMF has anything to do with your health. So that reminded me when in early 60, when discussion was going on about the tobacco smoking, many scientists at that time, very prominent scientists, say it has no effect. But some people were saying, no, it is very harmful for your health. But finally, 20 years later, we know this is true. So it might take another 20 years before everybody realizes this is. But in our judgment, myself and Dr. Kort and Joanette and all the team, we don't want to wait that long. We want to do something to reduce now.
Well, things are going to change, and they're going to change quickly because the team is ramped up on this. And, even Robert Kennedy Jr. is speaking about it on a public basis through a friend of mine, Tom Lankering. So we're going to see it happen, and we're going to see it happening very soon. So excited to have
Yeah, I think at least we have this product, which has many people have a personal experience. There is no clinical study as yet, but people maybe are starting a clinical study. But in humans, it is difficult. Animal study has been done in precise, the distance, the absorption rate. But suppose if you said, okay, you don't get exposed to certain time, but people are walking all over the place, office, you can't control that. So the amount of energy absorbed, it is difficult to control in human because he has exposed to, so it has become a really environmental factor rather than a specific factor. But at least the animal study shows without any doubt that EMF radiation can increase the risk of brain tumor.
Mhm.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Dr. Prasad, this is the new science brochure. So we picked a few of the key slides out to walk through really the history of the original Micro Daily product.
Yes.
First of all, who you are and why you're the expert, and then walking through the development and how long it took. And I think that we're going to walk through that process. So at the end, people can understand the amount of research and the body of work that you have created to be able for this patent for the adults in two forms, right? Both the capsules and the hydro and the children's gummies are all
Yeah,
patented.
I mean, that children, because children get exposed to two at home, you can't avoid it, Wi-Fi or anything, exposure. So it is very important that children also get protected. And teenager, they're always on this cell phone.
Well, the children are smaller, so they're affected more prominently, I
Right,
believe.
right.
A lot smaller, and it doesn't turn down. Go ahead, Chet.
Well, so we're going to micronutrients, right, are and your formulations, right, are the answer to really the ambient EMF. And so I'm just going to overview that. And you have many products that you have formulated that are patent and patent
Yes.
pending. But I wanted to, this is the first slide, but we're going to move on because as we're going to build up on really how he created and developed,
Mhm.
right, all the research and the funding that
Yes.
you had to create the original. So we'll go there. And so would you mind, Dr.Kort, really going over Dr. Prasad's body of work for people on this call that may not know him very well, and just to explain really who he is? And he is the expert.
See that, Chet? Is there another one?
Here you go.
Yeah. So, Dr. Prasad is a living legend, and we love him, and everyone else loves him as well. But Dr. Prasad was the world's first PhD radiation biologist, graduating in 1963. The little caveat is that he graduated 4.5 years ahead of his classmates. Wondering where he was going to go next, he was given a ticket to Brookhaven, where he worked at the Brookhaven National Laboratories. And he was a discoverer of the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. He also discovered butyric acid, fatty acid that is fermented in the gut and is also an anti-cancer agent. And he has many other discoveries and many books that he has written as well. Dr. Prasad was also a professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine for more than 30 years, and he was the director of vitamin and cancer research. He's authored over 33 textbooks. I believe you're at 35 or 36 at this point. And you have published more than 250 peer-reviewed papers, and you are also listed in PubMed well over 450 times. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Dr. Prasad?
No, that's enough. Thank you.
And it took a long time for this original formulation, right, Dr. Prasad?
Yes,
to
yes.
get so why don't you walk us through the first part of this slide, and then we'll go to the second when you walk us through to the second part of
I think I was attending a meeting of VFW, Veteran of Foreign War, because we developed at that time some formulation. But we had a new company there, Premier Micronutrient Corporation, and so we were attending there. Then in the evening, we got a call from a general and the army, and they said, "Dr. Prasad, can you come tomorrow? We have a meeting with the Russian scientist who had experience in a war in Afghanistan about multiple vitamin and how it helped the troops in recovery." And so I said, sure. So we went there. And after 1 hour, he said that, yeah, can you develop a formula, something like that they were asking, telling us. I said, yeah, no, I have a better than that. Then he said, well, then you have to go and convince our scientists. The next 9 months, I must have given, I think, 17 lectures to various scientific group of Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and so on. And they, as you know, their scientists are very conservative. But after all those things happened, they said, yeah, you have a good idea, but you have to do experiment. You have to do a clinical study. I said, we don't have money. He said, go to the Congress. I mean, the history is so long, but anyway, I will brief. Then I spent another 9 months in the corridor of House and Senate and met people from both parties and finally obtained a total of $12.5 million. And then we went for a clinical study where we ran a clinical study. Then we went to the Naval Health Research Center in San Diego. And there we said, yeah, we want to test on Marine Corps who are getting trained in Farm 29 and was very bad environment. So we ran a study. We have to get approval from the IRB of the Navy, which took another 9 months. And then we studied the human study, and also as well as animal study we did. But human study was on a Marine Corps in training, and we found that it was a 90 days study, and it was a placebo-controlled trial, and so it turned out that those who were on our product, we used to call military micronutrient formulation, and then we found that those the training were getting our product, they suffer very little oxidative stress compared to those who were who were taking placebo. And so that was very exciting because many times those people, Marine Corps under training, they get sick and leave the training. So it was a good thing that they maintained their health without any problem. And then we did during that time, and then another trial we did in veterans, which is a naval medical center. Again, this is naval. And Dr. Hoffer was I think he was the captain of Navy at the time. And these veterans were coming from war in Iraq and Afghanistan at the time. And they were suffering from traumatic brain injury, showing the sign of a dizziness and balancing problem. And they go first in Germany and spent three months and then came to a Naval Medical Center. And so we tried that, again, 90 days study. One group got a standard therapy they have been getting all these years, and another group got both, a standard therapy plus micro-DD. At that time, we call it a EMF, micro. So after that, the study was 30 days in all criteria, and Dr. Hoffer was measuring quantitatively with some kind of machine all these parameters of dizziness and balancing problem. And in all criteria, they show a marked improvement compared to a standard therapy alone. And he presented this work in the International Society of Audiologists. So it was very exciting. And at the same time, we did animal study, and both in mice in the United States and a larger animal like sheep and rabbit in the Russian Academy in Russia. And Russia study was done in collaboration with the NASA in Houston. And so in all study, they say powerful radiation protection, more than I expected it. And so, and also we tried to do on a hearing loss in animal model. They were also very positive. And so it is a well-tested clinically and animal study. And so I feel very happy that it took, you can see that we started 2001, 2006. Total cost was $12.5 million from Department of Defense, and $12.5 million we raised from private sources. The total cost of getting approval and from Department of Defense, it cost total of $25 million. And we collaborated with their scientists. So sometimes they used to send us a clinical data, they will keep it and they will send blood. And we had a lab here in California, in Nevada, and we used to measure it. Dr. Cole was there, Bill Cole, my friend, and also my son was working there. So we were both measuring those kind of marker of oxidative stress and inflammation and so on.
I love these conversations. You know, folks, when we talk to Dr. Prasad, it's just like talking to an old friend and a mentor. But I want to just put this in perspective. You know, when we look at this man, and with no disrespect, I look at him as the one little Indian because he's from India. But this man by himself did 17 trips to the Department of Defense. That means 16 no's. 16 no's, and he never stopped. He was flying in from Colorado to Washington to give these lectures over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
Or a year and a half or so on that. And then he finally got, yeah, you know, after the 17th time we've seen you, we believe you. Now you can go to Congress and see if you can get some money. So he does another 17 trips.
Yeah.
And then he's like, do I get the money? And they go, no, you get to compete for the money. And a lot of people don't know this, but Dr. Prasad wrote, I believe it was about a 66-page
grant application. Yeah, it was competition. It is not a department, here's the money, you go. No.
He enters a competition against Merck and Pfizer and these companies.
Yeah.
And the one little Indian, folks, wins. He wins. And then he says, I'm not doing this by myself. And so he teams up with NASA, the Marines, the Navy, and they conduct 7 animal studies, flies, mice, rats, rabbits, sheep, and 7 human studies. And every human study was different. And you realize this one formula that he already had, that he had to prove to the world worked, has 7 individual patents.
Actually, there's 10 US patents.
There are 10 patents on it. And now the enhanced military formula is patented as well. Go ahead.
So I think the key here is that it took a long time to make this. He never gave up to get the funding for one formulation. And this one formulation really is the basis of protecting against ionizing radiation, biowarfare, and extreme stress. And those 10 patents were awarded off one formulation. So this is so exciting.
Isn't it fun?
Okay. So next slide. And the beginning of a partnership with Dave Nemelka and seeing Dr. Prasad's vision, because when we first started, we only had the original formula. And that's the only product we had for many, many years. And Dr. Kort used it before he used to x-ray. He was an upper cervical doc. Before he would image somebody, he would give them the microdaily original product to protect them from the ionizing radiation, and then also gave some afterwards as well. And when giving a referral to a radiologist for other imaging, he would provide 3 days worth of dosing to help them. Back then when we had one product.
Yeah, that was the Nuremberg study that was done. And we found that Dr. Prasad found that just one CAT scan, and we start to think about, you know, that doctors go, oh, we're just going to do a CAT scan today. Even at the dentist's office, they just do a CAT scan. One CAT scan caused double-strand DNA breaks in the lymphocytes of the immune system. But Dr. Prasad, in his infinite brilliance, said, I wonder what happens after an hour? Because the first time we found that it broke 58% of the double-strand DNA breaks. But the same continued after hour 2, after hour 3, after hour 4. And then around hour 5, we started to see a degradation of that. But when we gave one dose of the military micronutrient formula, it decreased the double-strand DNA breaks by 58%. In the beginning of that, we found that these the CAT scan actually caused double-strand DNA breaks of the lymphocytes for 4 to 5 hours. When we gave that dose just an hour before, it was shown a 58% decrease in the double-strand DNA breaks. I wanted to make sure I said that correctly.
Is that?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, that's great,
have
Dr.
they
Prasad.
given us, as you know, that right now we know, before that we didn't know that, but for the last 10 years I knew it, that the free radicals that are formed by radiation, they live longer than people thought. Then generally they think it is only a few seconds. But in this case, people reported that sometimes organic free radical lasts for 5 hours after radiation. So if they would have given one another dose of after radiation, this formula after this CAT scan, then would have been a probably 75 or 80% protection.
Amazing.
Go ahead.
So here's the original package that on the left-hand side of the screen that were in the BDUs. of the
Yes, yes,
military.
because so that army can put in a pocket. Yeah, when they.
We've actually met people that actually use this product overseas. So we have been fortunate enough that they were actually the individuals that actually got to use it and they loved it. And so now it's an exciting time for our veterans. And I want to thank everybody that's a veteran and their spouses on the phone, because we're very grateful for you. And then the current formula, that's the only product we had, Dr. Prasad, when we first started for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And it worked, and it was so powerful.
I'm trying to think when we did the talk in 2020, what we had. I think we just had that and one other formula, but I don't remember what it
Then
was.
the evolution, people wanted it to be, let's make a drink.
Yeah.
It wants to not have, because a lot of people have a problem swallowing. So then the evolution went to the Micro Daily Original Hydro.
Yeah.
And that's what we shared. And that's what he would give his patients before he x-ray them. And then when they would go out to see a radiologist for other imaging, that he would have them to take it before and after.
Revolutionary time in nutrition.
And these are parts of the new scientific brochure. And if you don't have it, we also have it electronically available for you. But just saying, now we're transitioning to EMF, that the smartphones, they're not going anywhere. The Internet of Things is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And the exposure. So we have to have proven strategies with his patented formulation to be able to protect us from the inside out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Do you want to read this, or would you like me to go over this real quick?
Go over it.
Okay. The reason why we're here, right, is that 5G is up to 700 times more powerful than the original cell phone technology. And we just did a presentation on EMF hypersensitivity this last month, and how Dr.Kort suffers like many people, but here it is right here in this documentation. But Dr. Prasad's latest research demonstrates why EMF radiation is harmful to our health. There are hundreds of scientific studies that have been shown that are potentially harmful, the potentially harmful effects of 5G EMF radiation to humans, right? And the potential human risks of excessive exposure to EMF radiation, we have EMF hypersensitivity. And we talked about that in great detail, but it could be anxiety, depression, insomnia, heart palpitations, eye strain, eye pain, pain in your hands from touching technology, and it's a myriad of symptoms. But we also have late neurological abnormalities like tinnitus, Dr. Kort, and being sensitive not just to sounds and light, but to many things.
Right.
Okay.
And we see that it's worse if you've had mold exposure, if you've had Lyme disease. Those people tend to be more sensitive, or concussions or electric shock. They tend to be more sensitive. So go ahead.
Yeah, and here's the key. We're building that foundation. The original Micro Daily formula that was supported by 14 clinical studies that Dr. Prasad really honestly beat the pavement in Washington, D.C. to get the funding to prove that this original formula reduced oxidative stress and inflammation simultaneously, and also protects you from ionizing radiation, extreme stress, and biowarfare. We briefly talked about his clinical studies regarding CT scans and the radiation in the military. That's what we discussed those regarding the patents on the original formula as we transition to the next slide. This is the children's slide. I think it's out of order.
Okay.
So we'll move them on.
Okay.
sorry, guys. Dr. Prasad, would you mind discussing why your CQF is very important for the micro daily and the micro daily EMF product formulation?
Yeah, I mean, every place CQ is very important. Combination and quality, quantity, and form is very important. Combination, I will give you a couple of examples that not many people, not other vitamin has it. Nutrition industry and many nutrition scientists thinks, and I can read the paper all the time, that beta carotene and vitamin A has same function, and therefore you can give one or the other. Like they will say vitamin A from beta carotene. But we found out from research that they have even true, then one molecule of beta carotene will form 2 molecules of vitamin A. That's very true. But they have also unique function on their own. For example, beta carotene, there is a protein called connexin protein. They hold 2 normal cells together. When the cell becomes cancerous, connexin protein is lost. So now they cannot hold together and they start divide uncontrollably. And so what beta carotene does, they induces a new connexin protein. So now cell becomes like a normal, cancer cell becomes like a normal cell behaves. And that's one difference. But vitamin A cannot do that, cannot perform that function. For example, vitamin A can participate in a differentiation of, during development, differentiation of nerve cell, muscle cell, and so on and so forth. But beta carotene cannot do it. So there are many other differences but those 2 are example I gave you. So in our formulation, we treated it both as a separate ingredient. This is very important to remember. Then another combination is so important is most of the time people say, you just added vitamin E acetate. But we know that vitamin E acetate is not as active as vitamin E succinate. I discovered, as Dr. Kort mentioned, a potent anti-cancer effect. And so we have many other criteria. There are a little bit different function of vitamin E succinate. But what happened, and so we added both vitamin E acetate and vitamin E succinate. Why? Because vitamin E acetate quickly gets degraded to a vitamin E like alpha tocopherol form rather than alpha tocopherol acetate. Acetate is chopped up and alpha tocopherol is used for purpose. And vitamin E succinate is slow in converting to alpha tocopherol. They will go perform some unique function that cannot be produced by alpha tocopherol. And so body has a constant supply of alpha tocopherol for a longer period of time. No other formulation that I know of have this kind of a strategy in mind. They will add either vitamin E succinate alone or vitamin E acetate alone. These are called example of right combination. Another thing that right combination, why it is so important in micro daily, is most of the people use N-acetylcysteine alone, but we added or alpha lipoic acid alone, because alpha lipoic acid, as you know, will increase glutathione level, plus it has other function. But we added glutathione in your body is one of the most highest level of antioxidant in your body. The amount of glutathione as an antioxidant present in your body, there is no other vitamin can do it. So it has very important function in your body for protection. And therefore, what we did, we have alpha lipoic acid added, but I also added N-acetylcysteine. So alpha lipoic acid increases the glutathione level by increasing their synthesis. And what N-acetyl does it, because for synthesis they need a cysteine. So what N-acetylcysteine does, they get into the body, acetyl gets chopped up, and cysteine is used to make a new glutathione. So you can see that by using both, you can have an optimal increase in the glutathione level. Not many products have this kind of combination. That's a combination, right combination. And quantity, I will make sure that everything we have added has no toxicity either by itself or do not have interaction with any medication that we might take it. And form is very important. For example, you can have a vitamin C as a vitamin C that's very cheap, but that vitamin C alone, ascorbic acid alone, if you do it, then it can cause upset of stomach because this is very acidic. It can cause upset of stomach in some individual, and it is cheap, much cheaper. But we use ascorbate because this is neutralized, so there is no chance of getting a upset stomach. So form is very important. And I said many people will add alpha tocopherol. And so there are many other things that we do. For example, selenium, maybe we'll use selenium oxide. Selenium oxide doesn't get absorbed very well. So we use selenium methionine, which is absorbed very well. So these are the very important differences.
What happened?
Dr. Prasad, I think that something happened when we transferred the presentation over. And so we're gonna just have you up on the screen while you're talking about the
Okay.
the micro daily EMF patent as we've walked through. So I apologize for that. We have not, in fairness, we didn't have power the last 3 hours, so we had to transition to a location where we could get power and internet. So with that, we have built the foundation that Dr. Prasad is the expert, first PhD radiation biologist. The patented formulation for the original formula and the evolution of that to the micro daily EMF product. Can you walk us through the EMF, the changes you added to the micro daily original formulation to the EMF, and why you think the patent people at the USPTO actually approved your patent for children and for adults?
Yeah, because the main reason was that the examiner had questioned, oh, it is the same, because those guys don't read carefully. I have to point out why we added a fourth nutrient that no other formulation had it. And also try and convince them that EMF radiation is a real human hazard for real toxic environment that people are exposed every day, and we have to protect them. And there are some animal study that they do it, and we said protect it. So we took about more than a year to back and forth convincing them that this is a not same old product, this is a different modified form, which is much more effective in reducing the risk of not only ionizing radiation, but also the EMF radiation, as well as any environmental toxin. So I think I finally, it took about 2 years to buy it.
How many conversations did you have to have with them and
Well,
explain?
I think it was a lawyer's job. But my correspondence between me and a lawyer, and lawyer submits it, whatever I write. But there might be still 20.
Wow.
20 correspondences.
Yeah.
And so
Question, because always there is a new question.
so
Also, when they do that, they give me some other formulation to analyze. So it is not just to talk. I have to look the examiner sends some other various formula of antioxidant. So, well, it is also same. I said, no, here are the differences.
oh,
So I have to examine, many formula that examiner will send it. And I said, okay.
So what were some of the things in that other formula that weren't as good as yours?
Because they didn't have what we had. They had sometimes crazy herbs. Sometimes they have a few antioxidants here and there. Not all B vitamins sometimes. I mean, you wouldn't believe the kind of formula they have it. And
Well,
got approval.
really is the difference between a Ferrari and a Pinto.
Yeah, exactly.
so the children's formulation for the micro daily gummies to protect the children was patented first, and that protects them from both ionizing radiation, right?
And
And that-
EMF. Because the
EMF
ingredients are exactly same as adult, except the doses are small to make sure it is safe for kids.
Okay. And so how is the children's formula when you made it? How is it different than the adult formula for everybody on?
There is no difference except the ingredients are same, but doses are different.
Mm,
Doses are small, and that was easy to convince the examiner
okay. So the children's,
because nobody had the children gummy formula patent any patented any place. We were the first one to get patent on, children formula against all this kind of stuff.
Are we also the first to get a patent on EMF protection for adults?
Yeah, I think so. Against at least the EMF radiation, yeah. Because other people were claiming some radiation, some oxidative stress and things like that. And also collagen peptides, same thing.
It's good to be number one, Dr. Prasad. I know that you were a competitive athlete and that was your mantra. It's good to be number one.
I don't know.
Continue.
When I was 70 and I was playing tennis with a 20-year-old kid, my wife will say, "Aren't you ashamed playing?" I said, "I'm beating them, so I'm okay."
so for everybody on here, and you can look up yourself when you go to look up the U.S. Patent and Trade Office, USPTO, and you
Yeah.
can look up Dr. Prasad and the EMF formulation and any of his products, and you can be able to walk through and see that. And what's exciting is that they already got the written letter last week, even before the actual patent was updated. And so when they received that, it was for us a milestone because we need to have out in marketing, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear-based marketing and use this
Oh, yeah.
these different things. And we're coming from a place of scientific validation and no other formula that has the clinical research that you've provided.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's no medication contraindications.
Yeah.
We've been using it for over a decade. So Dr. Prasad, I shared with you, this is, I think, really important for people on here. Dr. Kort's very detailed longevity panel, right? That he had clinical work done from a very prestigious lab in Georgia that can do very high level testing. And with that, and Dr. Kort, even though Dr. Kort does have EMF hypersensitivity and it can really affect his heart rate variability and his ability to really, he can become very
Cognitively function.
Yeah.
It's a state of shock.
Yeah.
Folks, I talk to firefighters and medical professionals all the time. EMF is a state of shock. And so that first phase, EMF hypersensitivity is a state of shock. Thank you. And so that first phase is kind of a disbelief where you're typing and thinking, I can't believe I'm slowing down. It's the middle of the day. I'm just really starting to get fatigued. And Dr. Prasad actually saw this once when we were at his house, sitting right where you are at. And it was the printer that was behind me that was affecting me. And once we unplugged the printer, I was fine. Then the next phase goes into a phase of irritability where, you get a little cranky and ugly mood swings and just short tempered. And we see that in so many places. We see that in workplaces like crazy. We see it in people that are driving and so forth. And then the next phase is the most dangerous because the next phase is where your brain becomes hypoxic. It loses oxygen. We know exactly where it's losing oxygen in the brain. And then you lose consciousness. And that's what was so amazing about this test that I took, this blood test that I took, because guess what? Tell him, Jet.
Well, we get it back, and Dr. Kort's HSCRP, and I sent this to Dr. Prasad. So for people on here, Dr. Prasad did get a look at his blood work, and many things, but the most important were the HSCRP, which is inflammation. Dr. Kort, even though he has EMF hypersensitivity, is the top 1% that they have ever measured on this test. Okay. He had also very good oxidative stress and very high total antioxidant capacity. He had no DNA damage, and DNA damage is measured through 8-hydroxydeoxyguanosine. And he
Yeah.
had none. Like, so, which was very, for me, he does get really impaired from the environment. But and he also had optimal triglycerides. And so when we look at what is Dr. Prasad's patented formulations, what are they proven to do? And for me to get to see, even though when he gets exposed to non-native EMF and the ambient, and sometimes when he's lecturing a great deal, that no matter what, he is resilient. He's been on product a long time. And I just spoke with the lab director, Dr. Prasad. I would like for you to meet him, Dr. Shi. And
Sure.
so we're going through his numbers, and he said, he just kind of cocked his head and he goes, well, we need to talk about that because Dr.Kort is the top 1% on those markers.
Wow.
And we know that because he's been on product, the Micro Daily original product, and now the Micro Daily EMF product that protects you both from ionizing radiation and non-ionizing, which is our EMF ambient. And to me, as a biochemist, it meant a lot to me to see that he didn't have DNA damage, Dr. Prasad, because
Yeah.
he can go unconscious. If he flies on an airplane, which we don't anymore, he will go unconscious. And a lot of people on airplanes aren't, they are in a state of shock. They're not really sleeping. They have lack of oxygen to the brain because there's a lot of radiation on the plane. So I wanted to share that. And for me, it's just a testimony of using your product for a very long time. And that formulation has really changed the quality of both of our lives and our work. And we know that for everybody on there, it's safe. There are no contraindications, and that you and your family, your children, and people that you care about, right, that you can be resilient, and it
Yeah.
protects you from the inside out.
Yeah, my granddaughter has been taking this children's gummy formula for a long time. And I'm taking my product. You can see at the age of 90, I'm still functional. And my son is taking also, So, I mean, this is very common sense that you reduce oxidative stress and inflammation. You can fight occurrence of disease very nicely. Have a good quality of life while you are aging.
Well,
Because most of the chronic disease appears as you grow older, because oxidative stress inflammation increases as a function of aging. And so if you don't do anything, that it will catch up with you and develop all kind of problems.
Well, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you for being so tenacious that you would do 17 trips to the Department of Defense, trying to prove that your product that you already had in hand was the best in the world. And thank you for doing 17 trips to Congress. And thank you for not giving up when they said you get to compete against the giants of Merck and Pfizer for funding. And thank you for getting more funding so that we had the $24+ million in funding. And thank you for doing the 7 studies on animals and humans for a total of 14 clinical studies, now 10 patents. Thank you, Dr. Prasad, for being you, a one-of-a-kind human being in this world.
Thank you.
Sets the precedence of the most amazing man I've ever known. And I'm
Thank you, Dr. Kort. Without cooperation of you and Joanette, it would not have been possible to develop EMF. So I'm very obliged that you advised me to do so, and I did. I always take seriously, but I do research first and get myself convinced that, yeah, this is real. And rest is, so you deserve as much credit as I do in terms of adding the EMF component there and make it a better product.
Well, I would like to, yes, I would like to, for everybody on here, such an honor to get to work with Dr. Prasad and his body of work, and he never gave up, and to see in his lifetime the patents that are going to change the life of your children and your grandchildren and the people that put this in their body. Okay, it is safe. And truly, the blood work, in 90 days, every red blood cell is brand new. So I'm just going to ask, if you haven't already tried, please share this with people, because what happens is that, you know, when you get exposed to EMF, that blood just clumps up. Do you know what I mean? And so if you have a high blood sugar, you don't have very good, you've got some glucose molecules on there, and it just all those things hinder your ability to get oxygen to the brain. And I want you to know, I feel that making that first step, a minimum of a 90-day commitment, when you get that blood work before and after, you're going to see like we have seen blood sugar balance, like inflammation, like the lab, Dr. Shi was just like, I could tell he had to kind of go, because Dr. Kort's going to be 60 here shortly.
He was dumbfounded.
He was. And
he was dumbfounded.
He goes, because his numbers were optimal at any age. Okay. For everybody on here. So yes, he has EMF hypersensitivity, but when you provide the building blocks that Dr. Prasad has created in this formulation, it's a patented formulation. This isn't like when he had
not a supplement.
No, when he had to compete, when the patent assessor puts other products next to it, and he has to break it down and prove why this product deserves to have a patent, both for adults and children. And today's the day. And for everybody on here, I'm so grateful that you're on here. And Dr. Prasad, what a glorious day when you got this letter in the mail.
What?
When you got the letter that said the patent was approved.
Oh, yeah. Lawyer.
The lawyer got it.
Yeah, lawyer got the information and he sent us to David and me a copy. And so I think this is a very, very good news, because generally multiple vitamins don't get approval, you know. And so
because that's a multivitamin. This is a formulation unlike any other formulation in the world. We know they're going to call it, folks, we're not calling it vitamins. We're not calling it supplements. We're not calling it nutrition. We're calling it the premier formulation. And that is what it deserves, because listen, blood test, honestly, everybody in the industry that she shared it with is going, what? All the markers that we expected, we didn't see. Mine were optimum. And
that's why we saw the results in a Marine Corps in training.
Yes.
Yeah, it shows how phenomenally Dr. Prasad's product works. It works in every body.
Yep.
And you can be confident about that.
Yep.
You can share boldly.
Well, I want to thank everybody on here for learning more about the history of the original micro daily formulation and the joy of Dr. Prasad and his body of work to the evolution of this micro daily EMF patented formulation for both adults and children. And that means it's protecting you when you go to the dentist.
Yes.
Or get a CAT scan or a cone beam, that you take this product before you go. It will protect you from the ionizing radiation and from the ambient EMF, biowarfare, or extreme stress. And it's proven to do so.
Yep. And when you came back, take another dose. That's it. Easy.
And take another dose. And so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. You want to close this out?
Yeah, I just want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart. You are a phenomenal human being. We're so grateful that so many of us get to share you, and that we've been able to share you for over a decade. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Truly, now we have proof. We're going to continue to do research and continue to prove your products and how phenomenal they are. We're grateful for everyone else.
And it's simple. Just put it in your body.
Yep.
In
your body.
Put it in your body.
You put exactly. It's so simple to take it, and it's so effective.
2-a-day dose.
Yeah.
All right, let's close with that. Why did you make it a 2-a-day dose, Dr. Prasad?
Because twice a day, because what we found that if you take only in the morning, then half of them is gone by evening, another half goes in the... So there is lots of fluctuation in the level of antioxidant. And when I found my postdoctoral fellow did the lab work with 12,000 genes and found that if you vary the concentration of antioxidant, even a small amount, that there is a dramatic change in expression of gene. And if you do every day like that, gene expression, one time they can induce mutation. And so so there is large variation. So that's why I said you take it twice a day, morning, evening, so the relatively amount all 24 hours relatively remains steady.
Beautiful. That's a great way to close.
That is a great way. Well, folks, we're over time. We want to thank you so much for being.
Thank you, Dr. Kort and Joanette, and thank Engage family. I enjoyed being with all of you.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Sarah Kiwi. We appreciate you as
Yeah,
well.
Jeff is another unique individual that I express my deep. He's the one who taught me, you know, I do a lot of presentation these days, international meeting. And so Jeff taught me how to do all those things.
So that
He taught me too.
so you can lecture and share your research and your body of work globally in Dubai.
You know, it is very interesting. I used to give, you know, as a speaker. Now when they get invitation, another for 26, they're asking me to become a main speaker.
Well,
Keynote speaker.
Keynote speaker. Well, good night, everybody. And
Good
thank
night.
you, Dr. Prasad.
thank you. Be well.
Be well, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.